Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Bulldog Breakdown. It's been about 3 months since our last episode, October 2023. And, of course, new year, new show, new episode. I'm really excited to get another episode back out there. But as you guys know, of course, it's now January. And since then, we've seen the transition from fall sports to winter sports. And I'm really not going to touch on fall sports in this episode just because there's a lot to talk about for the beginning of winter sports. So we're just going to go full steam ahead we're going to start off with basketball, and we'll go into every other winter sport after that. But for now, I'm Ben Carpine. Welcome to the Bulldog Breakdown. And after this brief intro, we're going to send you right into winter sports. So we're going to start off with men's basketball for today, and as a member of the team, I'm dressed up for tonight. We actually have a game versus Abington, and when this episode comes out, we'll have already played that game, and in the best hopes that we're 2-3. But at the time I'm filming this, the Abington game is tonight, and it's a doubleheader. It's men's and women's varsity basketball teams playing both at home versus their longtime rival Abington Green Wave. Their next 3 games for men's basketball, they go to Randolph on Friday, and then next week they will play Silver Lake and Sandwich, both of those at home. Now for men's basketball, I think that we have the capacity to beat all 4 teams. Will we? It's tough to say. We're 1-3. I'm very confident that we, even with our record, have the talent and the hard work and effort required to beat both of those teams. But at the end of the day, all it really comes down to is, sometimes the last couple minutes or one quarter, or even, one go-ahead drive by the other team or by us. So, rambling a little bit, but what I'm trying to get at here is, we haven't been out of really any game this year with the exception of the one East Bridgewater game where we were down by 15-plus points pretty much the whole second half of the game. We've been in every single game with the exception of about 5 or 6 minutes of basketball per game. And, the Mashpee one, we were up by 15 at halftime, only won by 2 in overtime thanks to Depina's game-winning shot. Every other game, we've only lost by 12 or less points. And, when it comes down to the Norwell game, that game was hand-for-hand, battle between both two teams. And it was really just the third quarter that put us out of it. We either outscored them or we matched a score with them every other quarter. And then Hanover, just a game we should have won, weren't really that solid in the paint. The rebounding is what killed us with Hanover. But I'm confident now. We're 5 games where this will be our 5th game of the season. It's our first league game of the season, which is huge, and it's at home versus Rockland's biggest rival. I see this as a huge, huge opportunity for Rockland to go out there and get a really solid win to kick them off and get them going in league play. And I'm very confident that they will. But now we're going to send you guys over to women's basketball. For girls basketball, I'd like to be sitting here saying that while boys basketball is having a bit of a rough start to the season, girls basketball is kind of on the other end of the lever. And unfortunately, I can't really say that that's true, but I can't really say that that's false. They have beat Mashpee and they have beat East Bridgewater to start off the year. However, in the tournament that they just played in last weekend, they unfortunately lost to Scituate in the first round, and then in the second round, their consolation game, they did not play very well against a tough Wellesley team, and they lost to them as well. Of course, they lost to BR earlier in the season too, and to Brockton. But you know what? It's not the end of the world for this team. I feel the same way about the girls' basketball team as I do about the men's basketball team, or the boys' basketball team. I realize I keep saying that. Boys, men's team, women's team, girls' team. I'm going to keep saying that probably throughout the entire rest of the episode. But I feel confident about the girls' basketball team just as I do about the boys' team. And I feel that, rough start to the season, but once you enter league play and you're playing teams that you've been playing for the last, 15, 20 years consistently twice a year, that's really when we're going to start to see the win count pick up for both teams, and I'm confident that the girls' team is going to be able to turn their, not so great start to the season around. Hockey team isn't having a great start to their season either. They're 2-6-0 to start the season off. Their 2 wins, one was an overtime victory, and that was at Neshoba Valley. Their most recent victory, that was versus Mashpee Monomoy. So they are 2-6. Their other losses: Silver Lake, Abington, Bourne, and then Middleborough, West East Bridgewater, and Bishop Stang. Again, I personally, I don't know enough about hockey to really analytically talk about it as much as I like to. But Rockland has a way about them that I think it's just in their blood that they are very competitive. And you got to remember that this hockey team lost 12 people total from last season, 10 seniors graduating and 2 transferred out of the program. So you basically have a completely brand new lineup that you had last year. And that's calling on a lot of guys who are, only 10th, 9th, even a couple middle schoolers to step up and play varsity hockey for their first time in their career. So they're asking a lot of these kids, and I think the fact that they're 2-6, it's not the greatest record, but it speaks a lot about these young kids who are going to be a part of the Rockland hockey program for the next 3, 4, 5 years. So I'm very proud of the hockey team, and I'm very hopeful that they're going to be successful in the upcoming weeks. It's a long season. Winter sports go regular season until the end of February, and right now it's January 3rd. So, it's still a lot of time to go before, the season's over and we start talking about consolation brackets and stuff like that. So I'm confident that Rockland hockey is going to find a way to turn it around. The Rockland High School winter track team, a team that I was a member of last year, by the way. I went back to basketball this year. I missed it that much, but I can speak volumes to the winter track team. I was a captain of it last year. Winter track is kind of an odd sport because it's really nobody's main sport. Even if you do winter track, or even if you do track all year round, like last year, for example, I did cross-country, winter track, spring track, you're really only doing winter track to get ready for spring track. So it's kind of one of those in-between sports where you're only doing it because you want to get better at another sport. And right now there's 3 names that I want to shout out to because going full steam ahead into spring track, these are 3 athletes who I think will have no problem potentially qualifying for states in their respective races. And these 3 athletes that I have down, Luka Bonac, he's a sophomore. He's only half a second off of 1,000-meter qualification. I believe his season PR is 2 minutes and 54 seconds, somewhere around there. I won't get into decimals and all that stuff, but very, very good athlete, very close to qualifying for the 1,000-meter. Jake Common, time on the 600-meter of 1 minute 38 seconds and 38.54 seconds. That's 6 seconds off of the state qualification for the 600. So again, another athlete who I think will have no problem qualifying for his race in spring track and winter track season as well. And for girls team, Emily Dunham already qualified for the states in the 300-meter race with a time of 44.57 seconds. So for those 3 athletes, congratulations, or I should say congratulations to Emily, and best of luck to Jake Common and Luka Bonac, who I have no doubt will someday be in that state's qualification, whether it's this season or it's in the spring season. But all 3 of these athletes are really the standout characters on this winter track team, and don't be surprised if you see them in a league all-star notification later on this season, in late February, early March. Now, there are 2 sports that I would love to talk about a little bit more. And I'm a little bit disappointed because I don't have all the information available to talk about them as much as I'd like to. And that's just kind of, it's on me, and, it's on stats being available and stuff. But those 2 sports are swim and wrestling. Now, for wrestling, what I can talk about, at least for wrestling, is that this is a team that, right now, they are going to be losing a couple of seniors next year, a couple of very talented seniors, mind you. And so this is kind of their last, I don't want to say, it's their last year with their really good seniors, and next year it's going to be, a different team, different roster, different culture. But this year, it's a special year with any year that you have seniors that are this talented. And I do want to talk about some of these guys who were able to win their match a couple weeks ago versus Excel Academy. Spinney had a pin, Aaron Ramponi had a pin, Keegan Butler had a decision win. Tommy Sadamit had a major decision win, and Sam D'Souza had a pin, all 5 of those being victories over Excel Academy in their respective weight classes for varsity. Now for JV, Finn O'Connor and Logan Cook both have decision wins, and Andrew Sukar and Gavin Biggins, both first-year wrestlers, by the way, both get their pins for their JV victories. And then for swim, unfortunately, I could not find any data about swim really anywhere, and that it's on me as much as it is on stats just being available. So hopefully in the next episode I can have more available on swim, but at the present moment I am not able to talk confidently about how the Rockland swim team is doing. So that's on me, but again, we'll just push it forward to next episode. So don't feel left out, swim and wrestling to some extent. We will get you guys your own moment in future episodes. Well, folks, I do want to thank you for watching this episode of the Bulldog Breakdown. And I know it's been a couple of weeks and actually months now since my last episode of the Bulldog Breakdown. But I really want to thank you guys for the support that you guys have given me throughout all of the school year, whether it was from commentating football games or doing the Bulldog Breakdown or now doing the Warrior Weekly as well. But it really does mean a lot to me, and it shows that you guys care. I care about all of my viewers, and I really care about producing this stuff for you guys. It's a lot of fun for me to research and entertain people on TV, and I'm really glad that you guys are enjoying it. I do have two main things that I want to say to you guys before we wrap up this episode. And number one is, of course, I'm playing basketball this year, so I can't commentate it. But if you do still want to watch live broadcasts of basketball games, at least for men's basketball, you can still check out on WRPS. You can watch those games commentated live by Harrison Holbrook, who was my color commentator for the better part of the football season. He will be commentating all home games for the men's basketball team. Now, I can't tell you, at least at the moment, I know Harrison's out of service, at least right now, but when he is back, he will be commentating all home basketball games, and I can tell you I'm very proud of him, and I'm really excited to see what he can do as a commentator. He's only a sophomore, so he'll be here for 2 more years after I graduate. So please check him out. I know for a fact that he really wants some viewers, and if I wasn't playing basketball, I would certainly commentate with him. And the second thing that I really wanted to say is to kind of touch on what I was talking about earlier. Thank you guys for taking time out of your day to watch the Bulldog Breakdown and to watch those football games that are now up on YouTube. It really does mean a lot, and I put a lot of effort into those games, and to see that they're being responded to well, and that everyone seems to like the football commentary and stuff, I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. So thank you guys, for doing all that you do and for showing me support throughout this whole school year. Now, as we wrap up this episode of the Bulldog Breakdown, I do want to thank you guys one more time and remind you guys that this will get back onto a regular schedule. We will see the Bulldog Breakdown next week. But again, I'm Ben Carpine, and thank you for watching this episode of the Bulldog Breakdown. And remember, go Dogs!